Hello, everybody. Adam J. Austin here, and figured today, episode 95, I feel like talking about jury duty. So, my last adventures in jury duty land was last year. I believe it was October. I received a jury summons. And, when you get that, you guys get that icky feeling. You're like, oh, no, here we go. I got to do this, got to do that. People just, or maybe it's just me, because my rebellious side, I just hate being told what to do and forced to do things. But, I thought about it. I was like, and even knowing what I know, how essential and how awesome, jury duty really is as a duty and as an essential core to the foundation of a free society. Uh, so I was like, okay. I looked at the date, and once you know it, it was for the first. It was I had a week scheduled off in November, and this is scheduled for months because I was going to take a week off and work on a bunch of writing and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's no work, do my writing, get a lot done. Nope, I got this thing in the mail, and it was a jury summons. And it's for the Monday of the week that I was taking off. So it's like, no. So it is what it is. And as I was getting closer to it, I was thinking about it, and I was getting myself sort of hyped up. I was like, well, this is cool. The good news is at least I don't have to hassle with work or anything, and I've already got the time off. I can maybe get some reimbursement or some time back if I chose to go that way, and I just figured, hey, let's do it. So I go in there on that Monday, and the courthouse is packed. So I was like, oh boy, here we go. There's first off, I was thinking, wow, I'm looking around. There's almost 200 people there, 200 jurors. I was like, well, I'm probably not going to get picked. No, everybody got picked. There were 4 trials that day, and we all were put into one jury selection or another. And so I went to mine, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just be doing this. They said that it was probably going to last 3 to 5 days. So I was like, well, that's my whole week. But again, I believe in it. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And they picked, the first 12. And once I'm number 12. So then there were 4 alternates after me. And then there were some more on the side that, as people were stricken or dismissed, they would step up and take their place. So I was number 12. So it's like, oh boy, okay, I guess I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do justice here, and I'm admiring the system. The judge was a really cool guy. Everything seemed neat, and he, after some questions, he told us what the charges were against the accused, and here we go. I was like, ooh, okay, they're getting right off the bat because the judge knew that the jury needed to know what the defendant was being charged with in order is because he was going to ask some questions later that caused a little conundrum in my little brain here. So the defendant was on trial because he had, I believe it was 7 counts of child pornography on his computer. Now, the judge said right off the bat, he said that this person had nothing to do with the production of them. He was not selling them. He had no contact or interaction with the minors that were in there. I didn't see the pictures. I didn't know exactly what, how graphic or how bad they were or what was going on. And but this person just happened to have them on his computer, and there was no evidence that he was making money from it, creating them, or knew anyone involved with it. He just had them, and I was like, you hear that, and you're like, but that's gross. But then as we're going through the process, each juror would stand up and they'd say, do you know anybody here? Is there any reason why you can't be partial or impartial? Or and then we all stood up and we gave our professions, what our spouses did, how many children we have, all these relevant questions, and we're having a good time. It's almost like the first day of school, or when when you start a new job, or you have like a company outing, and it's like, oh, hello, I'm Adam Austin, and I blah blah blah. I do this, I write, and I can do things like that, and all these, and I'm okay with voices and blah blah blah. didn't go that deep in at the jury pool. But so we got through all that, and then the judge, because I was waiting for this, because I was I was almost hoping that he wouldn't ask the question, is there any juror here that will not be able to judge the defendant based solely on the law? Now, I don't know if that was the exact wording, but you get the message. This is where all of a sudden, the alarms went off in my brain, because I know damn well, as any good libertarian should know, or any good citizen should know, what jury nullification is. Now, for those of you who don't know, thank goodness there's a plethora of information on the internet, and you can look it up, and there's lots of videos. But to break it down real quick and succinctly, jury nullification, it's a term describing the fact that a juror has so much power that a lot of people don't even know that they have. We as jurors are not only supposed to judge the defendant on whether or not he or she broke a law, but also whether, this is key, whether the law should be a law at all. That is the core duty. There have been quotes of past Supreme Court justices that have said almost those words verbatim. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to say whether after the trial, and we have all the evidence and the defense and the prosecution, we're supposed to say, okay, is this person guilty? And then you step back and say, should this even be a law? I mean, I found out about this maybe 5 years ago or something, and it never really hit me up until a few years ago. And then it really did there, because, oh my gosh, while he's talking to the judge is talking to the other people, they're answering questions or whatever, my brain is spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about what he's already told me that the defendant has done. Do I really think that's a crime? And if so, should he be punished? So in that time, and then I was thinking, okay, well, if I didn't, should I say anything? Or should I just keep that to myself? Well, by the time he came around to me, I was honest. I rose my hand. He's like, okay, juror number 12, what's your name again? Adam Austin. Okay, Adam Austin, stand up. Stood up. What's the problem, sir? And I said exactly what I thought. I said, without saying the words jury nullification, because I know that in some cases, maybe not in Arizona, but and I like the courts generally, but everything's flawed. That's why I'm a libertarian and probably an anarchist in the core of my soul. But playing by the rules and knowing the system and understanding that people, for the most part, do the best they can. I respected the judge. I respected the court. So I didn't want to tamper with any of the jurors. And I do know that there have been cases where jurors, if you hand out info on jury nullification, or if you talk about it too much, they get arrested for jury tampering. So I sort of cut that short. And boy, and I never really thought that I'd feel such weight on me. But standing up there and knowing what I know and saying what I believe, of course I was there was no alternative. I had to do it. It's just who I am at the core of my spirit. But it's still, I felt like I was singled out and I had a billion eyes on me. So I said, without saying jury nullification, I said, I don't believe that this is an actual crime. And I can't remember, I said a few things else, but finally the judge looked around, and I was the only juror, after they'd already dismissed or struck 5 or 6 other ones, and okay, you can go. He called me to the back. The stenographer went there, the prosecutor and the defense lawyer, they were all there. So we had a little powwow, the 5 of us. The stenographer got set up. Okay, we're ready. And the judge, just a decent guy, cool guy. He's just like, so explain to me. So I had to explain to the judge, to the prosecutor, and to the defense what jury nullification is. Now, I bet you damn well they all knew what it was, but they were testing me. They were testing my knowledge, And I had to explain to them, and it's been a few months, so from what I can remember, I first off gave the definition similar to what I've given just the past 10 minutes, and I also I said that I looking at images of children, I think it's gross. I'm a father. I'm a stepfather. I think it's disgusting, but I don't think gross is a crime. Since he had nothing to do with anything, he didn't hurt anyone himself. The basic principle is if the defendant doesn't have any victims, there's no crime. No victim, no crime. And I believe that the only things that are crimes are theft, taking or tampering or destroying personal property, or physical harm, or murder to another adult or to a child. Or children can sometimes be a little different, but not much. Doesn't matter in this case. So I explained all that, and I felt so bad because the defense attorney, he was a young guy. He was looking at me. I could just see in his eyes. He's like, "Please, Adam, stay here. Help me win," because all the other jurors, you could tell just by their tone, they all believe they stick with the law. They're grossed out, so they're going to convict that guy. But that all they needed, in a typical trial, is one of the 12 to say, "Not guilty," and I don't have to say anything else. I could just sit there, all day long, as stubborn as I can be. But that defense attorney, he was trying so hard. He's like, "Mr. Austin, can you, knowing what you know, leave that all outside the courtroom and come in here and still judge?" Because he was trying so hard to keep me on there, because he knew if I was on that jury, he wins. There's no way that I'm going to convict the guy. But I mean, I wanted to help him out. I don't want anyone's lives interrupted or destroyed or hurt by the state for things that I don't think are criminal. As gross as it may be, I don't think gross is a crime, because how can you judge that? I mean, obviously laws are laws and how they come about, but my beliefs are no victim, no crime. So, but I still had to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And even though I was split because I wanted to enjoy my vacation, I wanted to work on my book, I also wanted to stay on that jury, and I wanted to help that guy. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm just giving my thoughts. Yours, I hope that they're different or curious or something. So I'd like to have a big discussion in the comments below. But the short of it, okay, Mr. Austin, the judge said, "You're very knowledgeable. You seem to know what you're talking about. Thank you for talking with us. You may go back inside and have a seat." I walked in there, and it was so funny. You should have seen the way they were all looking at me, like it was a mix of reverence and also a mix of, ooh, somebody's in trouble. And I was, I felt bolstered and I felt bummed at the same time. It's all these emotions that are just wonderful and also just vexing. I sit down. 5 seconds later, here comes the party. They all get to sit down. The judge looks at me. "Juror number 12, you're dismissed." Bah. Well, that's it. Got up, "Thank you," and I left. And I guess I knew that was going to happen, but I just wanted to be honest. And driving home, it's a half-hour drive back home. The whole time, I was just thinking, I was part relieved, part damning myself, because I could have kept my mouth shut. I guess I could have been dishonest, and I could have just sat there like a rock and without tampering anyone else's opinions. But because I don't know. I guess it would have been breaking an oath, maybe. It just depends. Because if you don't say anything, there's no, you can't get convicted of thought crimes, which again is what this case basically is. It's gross. You can't convict the guy of thought crime. I mean, anyone can imagine, as gross as it is, a disgusting image. Oh, am I a criminal? No. But I'm logical enough, and I have enough understanding of both sides to see where people are coming from. But I had to come from where I come from, and because of that, I was dismissed. And that's just the way the court system works. So still, though, I don't want to discourage jury nullification, because if enough people knew about it and stuck with their guns and did it, think of all the silly crimes that would just have to go away. I mean, this happened with prohibition, because everybody, well, not everybody, but there's some people that were slipping a drink on the side. When you'd go to trial, and someone, yes, this person either sold or drank, liquor. Are they guilty? According to the law, they are, but they said no, and eventually that law was overturned. Jury nullification has a lot of power. The same thing was with the Fugitive Slave Act, where Northerners were freeing slaves, and that because that was a crime, or helping slaves get free, that was a crime based on the law of the land. This is, in pre-Civil War days. But jurors still said they nullified the law because they said that they think that people should be free. It's vital. I mean, I can't even right now. This is dragging on, but it's hard to articulate just how fundamentally vital it is for everybody. If you're going to play that you're going to run this society and you're going to be a part of our community and you're going to try to make things better, you have to understand jury nullification. Now, you could side with the law. That's your choice. But people should know about it. And we should then, through our knowledge and through enlightenment, dictate how our society should be run, and the laws, which ones should be laws and which ones shouldn't be laws. It's key to liberty, and the people who created the founding fathers, they knew that, and it's essential. And I recommend looking into it and talking about it, hopefully with me. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe, visit my website, www.aswainbooks.com, and you can send me contact me personally, and we can talk about it further. All right. Hope that all makes sense. Hope that's clear. There's always more to talk about, and I look forward to it. Have a great day.